Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news for the Alabama Crimson Tide fans and Kalen DeBoer as five-star wide receiver Ryan Williams recommits to Alabama. And I think the biggest storyline here is not only are you getting a truly special player on the offensive side of the football that fits what Kalen DeBoer wants to do on offense like an absolute glove, but I think more importantly, this answers a lot of questions that Alabama fans had, that a lot of college football fans had in terms of, can Kalen DeBoer get it done recruiting in the SEC? And you talk about a guy in Ryan Williams, a top target for Auburn, a top target for Texas A&M, Texas, most Power 5 teams across the country. And Kalen DeBoer comes in, takes Ryan Williams in on a visit and gets him committed. This, I think, is massive, not only because you're getting a difference maker on the offensive side of the football, but more importantly, it shows that Kalen DeBoer might have that recruiting chops to get it done at Alabama as well, which again was probably the biggest question you had about the Kalen DeBoer hire. Like, nobody is questioning what Kalen DeBoer is as an X's and O's coach. One of the best in the country. Can he get it done on the recruiting trail? I think landing Ryan Williams certainly goes a long way in answering some of those questions. Really excited to get into this one. I want to talk about Ryan Williams and then have that conversation around where Kalen DeBoer is going on the recruiting trail for Alabama. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys and a shout out to the Alabama fans. I mean, this is a program that we said a couple days ago we're probably going to be talking a lot about over the next couple of weeks as Kalen DeBoer continues to get this roster ready heading into that 2024 year. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll be sure to keep you guys as updated as possible about Ryan Williams and about what Alabama is doing on the recruiting trail over the next couple weeks. And without further ado, I want to get into Ryan Williams first. And this is a guy that I think you got to start with just the athleticism that he brings to the football field. And you take a look at the track time, a 10.49 100-meter dash. And you talk about long speed, talk about being one of the fastest players on the football field. That's certainly Ryan Williams, but I think what makes him so special, and you can talk about just having that vertical speed, that straight line speed, that is a massive weapon to have. But when you can combine that with the movement skills and the ability to change direction and vary your speeds and accelerate like Ryan Williams does, that's kind of what you're talking about, like a special wide receiver. And I think the comp that a lot of people like to go with is Devonta Smith, and I get that as very high praise. I'd even go a little farther and say a juiced up Devonta Smith. Because you think about what made Devonta Smith so special. And again, an undersized guy, a wiry guy, just like Ryan Williams. And what made Devonta Smith so special, not only at the college level, but in the NFL, is how smooth he is running his routes, right? How polished his movement skills was. I mean, that kind of, you get the same feel for Ryan Williams when he's running his routes, when he has the football in his hands. And then you kind of add that truly game-breaking speed that Ryan Williams possesses. That's kind of where you get the juiced-up Devonta Smith comp you have there. And then the next thing you talk about is what Ryan Williams can do after the catch. He's truly devastating after the catch. You're going to see him flash on special teams. You're going to see him flash with some screens. This is a guy that, I mean, truly, whenever he has the football in his hands, has the ability to make a game-changing play. And the last thing, and probably the thing I value most in terms of wide receivers, extremely nuanced route runner. We talk about the long speed and the movement skills that he has. He uses that on the football field. You see him create separation with absolute ease, and you talk about fitting into that Kalen DeBoer offense that is going to give you a lot of one-on-one looks in space with defensive backs. Ryan Williams is a guy that can win those. And you look at that Alabama wide receiver room with a guy like Isaiah Bond transferring out, I don't think it's crazy to talk about Ryan Williams kind of coming in and being that wide receiver one immediately for Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama team. Now, I want to get into the film, talk a little bit about what Ryan Williams brings to the table. And the first thing you see on the film is just, I mean, really special after the catch. And one of those guys that if you take a bad angle, like, he's just going to run right by you. And you see guys thinking they have the angle on them. And then you see that 10.49 speed, kind of just running right by people, gliding, making it look easy. The long speed on display. But the second thing you see is what he can do after the catch. And this is where the movement skills really get put on full display. I mean, devastating after the catch, making people miss, and kind of putting safeties, cornerbacks in absolute blunders. And again, when it is time to turn on the jets and outrun everyone to make kind of that game-changing play. Ryan Williams certainly has that. And then you see the route running nuance here. Again, you're going to see a lot of these looks in this Kalen DeBoer offense where you're spreading the defense out, asking defensive backs to match up one-on-one with wide receivers, puts this cornerback in an absolute blender here. Create separation, safety's nowhere to be found, very good hands, finishes the play. I mean, those are the type of things that you expect Ryan Williams to come right into this Alabama offense and kind of fit like a glove. You see some more, and this is something important because Kalen DeBoer in Washington, they love to run those screens and get the ball to playmakers in space. I mean, Ryan Williams is a guy that is going to be an absolute weapon in this offense. And kind of the narrative is that this roster has kind of fallen apart for Alabama since Kalen DeBoer has taken over. And obviously, you had a guy like Caleb Downs and Caden Proctor and Julian saying leave the program. This is still a very, very talented roster heading into 2024. And more importantly, this is still a very talented class that Alabama has coming in this 2024 class, right? Jalen Mbakwe, arguably the best cornerback in the class. Xavier Brown, another elite cornerback. Xavier Mincy, you can add to that. Caleb Oden, Ryan Williams, two guys that, again, you talk about fitting like gloves into this offense. I think those are two guys that are going to have a ton of success in this Alabama offense. And then you scroll down to what they've done in the transfer portal, and you go and get a guy like Jeremy Bernard, who is kind of proven at Washington to be a guy, and Kalen DeBoer probably not bringing him over unless he knows he can succeed at the SEC level. I think this is exciting for two reasons. One, you get truly a game-changing player in Ryan Williams. Guys, I know many Alabama fans listening know what Ryan Williams brings to the table, but more importantly, this kind of shows me that Kalen DeBoer can get it done on the recruiting trail for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Massive get. Wanted to hop on, give you guys some of my thoughts. Appreciate you guys, as always, for all the support you guys have shown the channel. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to you